Hey there everybody, it's time for my DVD collection Redux Part 3. This will be G through L is what we're doing in this one. So we'll go ahead and get started here. First up we have a burnt DVD that's just the Game Trailers Legend of Zelda retrospective from 2006. This was back before Phantom Hourglass and Twilight Princess came out, which also means it's before Skyward Sword and Spirit Drex as well. Then next we have, this is a Garth Brooks tin. It's 5 DVDs, so it's really long. First of all, it's a metal tin in this sleeve, then it opens up, and then it comes out like this. So you got, what, here's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. Pretty cool because I really like Garth Brooks, and I admit he puts on, for country, he puts on one hell of a show. I really wish I could have seen him before he retired or quit or whatever. Then next up we have one of my favorite stand-up comedians, that being George Carlin. I have quite a few of his stand-ups here. Starting from the oldest, we have Playing With Your Head from 1986. Then we have Jammin' in New York from the year after I was born, 1991. This one, I really like this one. They're all really good, but... then we have Doing It Again, that also apparently came out in 1991. Huh, so he did 2 in 91 apparently. Then we have You Are All Diseased from 99, which is probably one of the best ones he's done, along with Complaints and Grievances here. This one was done right after 9/11 in 2001, and he does a nice bit on that. Very good. And then Life is Worth Losing from 2005, another very, very good one. And then his very last one, It's Bad For You, from 06 to 08, excuse me, sorry. It was made just a couple months before he died, and this one is very good as well. George Carlin is a huge influence for what I think is funny, and I like the kind of comedy that makes you laugh but also makes you think about what they're saying, and he's one of those that just had a big influence on me because of that. Then we go on to one of the most influential anime movie series of all time, that being Ghost in the Shell. Here's the original. Very, very good movie. I also have the second one, Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. Not quite as good as the original, but still very good. I've seen bits and pieces of the Standalone Complex series, and I want to get it so I can see the whole thing, and I've actually seen the Standalone Complex movie. It's also very good. But very, very influential movie series. In fact, this original one is what influenced The Matrix. So, yeah, pretty influential. Then we have a kind of, yeah, pretty raunchy comedy movie, The Girl Next Door, which is about a guy who has a porn star move in next door, or an ex-porn star, and he falls in love with her. It's an interesting movie, and it's Alicia Cuthbert, and she's pretty hot. But, yeah. Then we go on to, here's a nice one, Godzilla. Back when I was a kid, I saw the American one, and I loved it, and I ended up seeing some of the Japanese ones in their horrible English dubs at the Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, and I'd watch them on VHS. Then I decided, because of James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, because he did a review on every Godzilla movie, I decided I wanted to see all of them. So what I did is I actually downloaded all of them and watched a few of them and decided I just wanted to get most of them, if not all of them. And right here is the original Godzilla, but it says Gojira on the front, which is the original Japanese translation. And on the inside, and before I get to that, best noise ever. It sounds like it's new every time I open it. Watch. Here. I will close it again. Closed, okay? See, it still does it. And it's a little cracked on the inside. That might be me, it might not be. A little book. And on the inside it has the Japanese and original English versions with Raymond Burr. I prefer, this is one of the only Japanese related things where I actually prefer the Japanese version to the English version. Very good. This is easily, so far, of the Godzilla movies that I've seen, the best one. But I also have the second one, Godzilla Raids Again, which also does that every time I open it. We'll do it again. Here we go. Yep. Every time. Oh, it's because of that. Let's see if it does it still. Nope, still does it. This still is pretty good, but not quite as good as the first one. Oh. Then we have the third one. No, this is the fourth one, excuse me, because King Kong vs. Godzilla is the third one. This is Mothra vs. Godzilla, which is the fourth one. Also does it. And then it'll stay open. Yeah, its original release was Godzilla vs. the Thing. But they all have the Japanese and English dubs on them, but it's a single disc. And then just because it was my childhood, I also got the English one, or the American-made one, which as a monster movie, it's pretty good, but it's not a Godzilla movie, and I'll even admit that. But I loved this movie when I was a kid. And they're supposedly making a new English one, and they've already released pictures of what it's supposed to look like, and it looks way better. It's CG, but it actually looks like Godzilla now, so that'll be nice. Then we go on to one of the saddest anime movies ever made, Studio Ghibli. One of the only movies not made by Miyazaki from Ghibli, Grave of the Fireflies. This is one of the saddest movies I've ever seen. It's basically about a little kid and his little sister who grew up during the World War II, and their parents die and all that crap, and their aunt dies, and they end up homeless, and basically some sad stuff happens, and I'm not going to ruin it, but I cried like a little baby when I watched this. And I'm afraid to ever watch this again because I don't want to see that one scene ever again. Then we go on to one of my, as I said, I'd be saying this a lot, one of my favorite animes, Great Teacher Onizuka, or GTO. This is part 1, the first semester, and it's a sleeve inside a box with discs inside, and then you got second semester, or part 2. It's basically about a punk gang member who goes back to school to become a teacher and ends up, by luck, getting it and becomes a teacher for like a group of misfits and basically changes their life and makes their life awesome, and he makes teaching more based on fun than about grades or at learning. He teaches them life lessons instead of, you know, school. You know, it's hard to explain. But go watch it because it is absolutely phenomenal. And the English dub has Steve Blum, who is my favorite voice actor. But yeah, on to the next one. Another very, very good anime, and probably one of the better animes to come out in the last decade. Gurren Lagann, or Gurren Lagann, whatever you want to call it. But it's a mech anime, kind of, but it's also just insane. Some of the best some of the best art and character design and just straight up character and plot development I've seen in an anime in a long time. Very, very good. Very, very sad at parts. And there's also some parts that had me on the edge of my seat. I need to rewatch this one again. It's been like a year or two since I've seen it. But I gotta check it out again because I want to see it, you know, again. Very, very good. This was actually one of the DVDs I was waiting to get back so I could do this video too. My friend had been borrowing it for a while. Very good. Check it out definitely if you're into that kind of stuff. Then we go on to I don't know if you would want to call this a harem anime, but it's a maid-ish anime. It's called Hana Ukiyo Maid Team La Verite, or La Verite, or whatever you want to call it. This is actually a re-release of the series Hana Ukiyo Maid Team there was a lot of nudity in the original one, so they re-released it with new artwork, new whatever animation, and they called it La Verite. It's kind of a harem anime-ish. It's about basically a kid who ends up becoming the leader of a family, and he's like, there's maids, and turns out one of them's a robot. But it's a box set, but it has all the volumes in it, so I'll go ahead and show you all of them. Here's Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. This is another one of those animes that's pretty good up until the end, where it becomes, oh my god, this is amazing quality, basically. It also has an episode where one of the characters dresses up as the main character from one of my favorite animes ever, which I'd never thought I'd see anywhere. You'll see it when I get to it. It'll be next video is when you'll see that. This one, on the internet, was over $200. I found it at a used DVD store for $40, so I got a huge steal on this thing. Then we go on to another anime that I found for like 20-30 bucks on at that same store as the last one, and on the internet it was like 80 or 70 or something like that. That being Handmaid May. It's another maid anime, but she's like a little robot, so it's kind of like Chobits if you think about it. It follows almost the exact same plot, except she's tiny instead of big, but she grows big at some points. This is another one I actually bought volume by volume. So here's volume 1, here's volume 2, and here's volume 3. Another anime that is kind of up until the end, but it's very good up at the end. You learn some pretty interesting stuff about the character and the characters and whatnot. But yeah, it's another good anime. I'd suggest checking it out as well. Then we go on to another semi-raunchy movie. Not really raunchy, but it's just kind of, yeah, The Hangover, and I have it on Blu-ray because I have a PS3, so I can play Blu-rays. Pretty funny fucking movie. And I need to get the second one, and I can't wait for part 3 to come out. But go check this out if you're into comedies. It's probably the best comedy movie to come out in a very long time. Then we go on to another Adam Sandler movie, Happy Gilmore. This is probably my favorite Adam Sandler movie here. It's basically a golf comedy, and it's absolutely hilarious. It's about a hockey player who becomes like a golf phenom. Definitely check it out. It's a comedic classic. It's his best movie. It's the best thing I honestly think he's ever done. Then we go on to the Harry Potter series. Sorcerer's Stone, number 1. Chamber of Secrets, number 2. Prisoner of Azkaban, number 3. Goblet of Fire, number 4. Order of the Phoenix, number 5. And Half-Blood Prince on Blu-ray, number 6. With the little hollow thing. And then here's the actual disc right there. But, ew. Funny story about this one. I got it for Christmas, and I'm like, I told my grandma, why didn't you get it on DVD? And she's like, I couldn't find it. I went into Fred Meyer, which is basically Kroger if you live anywhere other than Oregon or the West Coast. And I found it within 3 minutes. Less than that. I found it 30 seconds. And I actually have part 1 of the last movie on DVD, but I haven't watched it yet. And I need to get part 2. So I'm going to do that whenever I feel like it. Alright, then we go on to my favorite Disney movie, period, that being Hercules. I absolutely love this movie. The music is amazing. Everything's amazing. This, as a kid, when I rented this from the video store, I'd rent it almost every time we went, and I'd watch it over and over again. And Meg's song in this movie is still one of my favorite songs ever in a Disney movie. Go watch this if you haven't seen it. Greek mythology, which is my specialty. That's another reason I like it so much. Then we go on to a Simon Pegg movie, his second one, which was Hot Fuzz. Basically, it's a cop movie. It's a spoof of a cop movie. Very good. British humor, so if you're not really into Britain, you know, it's not your kind of thing, but very good movie. Then we go on to my favorite American-made show ever, that being House. Here is season 1. And funny thing is, this is actually the second copy I've ever had of season 1. The first copy didn't have individual discs, it was double-sided discs, but it got like a laser burn on one of them. So I ended up, you know, rebuying it. So, season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, which is a lot shorter because of the writer's strike that year, but still one of the saddest finales. Season 5, season 5, sorry. Season 6, which is my favorite colored one. Season 7, which is piss yellow. And then the final season, season 8, which the finale is oddly fitting for this show. It's a doctor show, it's a medical show, where the main character is a complete ass. I'm going to explain how much influence the show had on me. My personality has kind of melded itself around this character. That's how much of an influence the show was on me. Yeah. And we go on to, this is How to Irritate People. It's a John Cleese movie, but it has a lot of the rest of Monty Python in it. This is mainly known as the precursor to Monty Python, because just about everybody from Monty Python is in this, I think. No, it's not. It's only got a couple of them, but It's very good, and it's hilarious as crap, so I'd suggest checking it out. If you're into Monty Python and haven't seen that, definitely check it out. Then we go on to another Disney series that is underrated in my opinion and is actually very good. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is probably the darkest Disney movie I've ever seen. The undertones and a lot of the songs. The song Hellfire is one of the most dark songs in a Disney movie ever. Very, very good though. Very good. And then I have the second one, Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. Not quite as good as the first one, but still actually pretty cute and charming, I'll have to admit. Then I burnt, if you've ever heard of the Idiots of Gary's mod series, I have that on DVD burnt. That doesn't really matter. Then I have another Paul Rudd movie with Jason Segel from, yeah. It's called I Love You Man. It's about a guy who's about to get married and has no guy friends, and then he just randomly meets this guy, and that just, chaos ensues, and his girlfriend, you know, doesn't like it, but then she's like, oh, it's a guy friend and you really liked him. Blah, blah, blah. So it ends up happy at the end. And look! It has these frickin' things on it. For no reason. You don't need that. I think that's the only one I found so far. Then we go on to another anime series. The only way to describe this anime series is it's fan service but fighting. And that is Ikitosen. This is the Funimation release, so one of the more recent ones. The first season is actually really cool. I really enjoy the first season a lot. There is nudity in this, but it's fan service is the best way to put it. But they beat the shit out of each other in this one. I also have the second season in individual volumes, Ikitosen Dragon Destiny. Here's Volume 1, here's Volume 2, and here's Volume 3. This season is much more fan service and nudity based because there's some special features with boobies, and the people who dubbed this one are different than the group that dubbed this one, so the voices are a little bit different. But there's some people in it who I didn't think voice acted anymore, and it's cool to see that. And then I have the outtakes from the original dub, because I don't have the original copy of the original dub. Then we go on to a Ken Akamatsu anime, one of his more little well-known ones. It's called Itsu Date My Santa. It's about a guy who was born on Christmas named Santa, and his life sucks, and he just gets visited by a spirit, or a spirit of Christmas, and he falls in love with her. It's only 2 episodes, yet they have a preview for a third one, so it kind of sucks. Oh, and there's nudity in this, which is funny too. It's pretty good. I just wish they would have made more episodes. It makes me wonder, is there manga? I actually don't know. And they need to make more episodes. You don't preview a 3rd episode and then, you know, frickin' not make it. Then we go on to another stand-up comedian that I like quite a lot, Jeff Dunham. A lot of people don't like him because he's a ventriloquist, but I like him quite a bit. We'll start off with his first stand-up special, Arguing with Myself. Then I have the second one, Spark of Insanity, which is what made him famous because of Ahmed. Then we got his Christmas special, which is funny because all of these are uncensored except this one. Then his not most recent one, a newer one, Controlled Chaos. I still need to get his Halloween one, Minding the Monsters. And then I have the entirety of his TV show on Comedy Central that only lasted a season. It's okay. It isn't even remotely as good as his stand-ups, but he's freaking hilarious, and I love watching him. I mean, you just can't go wrong with him as far as I'm concerned. Then we got porn. And then this is a burnt copy of Jonathan Colton, his concert DVD. Jonathan Colton is the guy who wrote Still Alive and Want You Gone from Portal, and R.E. Your Brains from Left 4 Dead 2. Alright. Then we have a Justice League movie. It's called Justice League Doom. Basically, Batman has plans just in case any of the Justice League go rogue. He has plans to destroy them or neutralize them. This is a movie about what happens if villains get a hold of those plans. Yeah. Very, very good. It was actually really, really good and had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. Very good. Check it out if you're into comic books, or, yeah, that. Then we have my only K movie. It's a Will Ferrell movie. It's one of his, it's okay. I don't particularly know why I bought it, but it's kicking and screaming. It's actually a pretty funny movie. It's about a guy who becomes his kid's soccer coach to rival his dad, and he gets kind of obsessed about it. And Mike Ditka, the coach, is in it. It's pretty funny. It's okay, though. Then we have another DVD I burnt. It's just The Late Night with Conan O'Brien, best moments, favorite moments, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Then we have a movie that was suggested to me by a friend of mine, ended up giving me basically jaw drop. Law-Abiding Citizen. Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx. Very good movie, and it's one movie where you're kind of rooting for the villain the whole time, because he's not really a villain. He just went crazy because a group of people killed his family and they got away with it, and he didn't think they should. It gets very good, and you're on the edge of your seat, jaw drop for most of that movie, because you don't expect what's happening when you see it. Then we go on to a piece of crap. The Legend of Zelda animated series. I have the whole box set. I got this as a gag gift for Christmas one year. It is complete garbage. I made it through about an episode and a half before I wanted to shoot myself. Well, excuse me, princess. I hate this thing. It sucks, and it's an embarrassment to the Legend of Zelda fandom. And then we have another one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies. A very, very good one. Probably, yeah, one of my favorites. Liar, Liar. It's about a lawyer who his son wishes that he can't lie for an entire day, and it ends up coming true. One of my absolute favorite Jim Carrey movies. He is amazing in this. Jim Carrey was awesome in the mid-90s. Go watch this if you haven't seen it. Then we have another live DVD. This is Lifehouse Everything. I got into a phase where I really liked Lifehouse, so I bought this. It's okay. It's not fantastic, but it's pretty good. If you like Lifehouse, check it out. Then we go on to another Disney series, The Little Mermaid. I have all of them for some reason. This is the Platinum Edition of the original. Very, very good. This is actually a great movie. I'm not even gonna, no lie. Under the sea, you know. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, don't be shy, da-da-da-da, I don't know. And then, part of your world! Yeah, anyway, I'm done. Very good movie. Plus, the, one of the special features on this, it's a little short called The Little Match Girl. One of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life. I wept hard. Then I have the second one, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, with her daughter, played by Tara Strong. It goes back to the ocean. It's pretty cool. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's one of the better Disney sequels, honestly. Very good. And then I have this piece of crap. This is Ariel's Beginning. It's actually kind of boring. It's okay, but it's not as good as 2. Still pretty good. I'd suggest 1 and 2, honestly, not 3. Don't even go close to 3. Then we go on to another one of my favorite animes, and honestly this is up there as tied up there for one of absolute favorites, that being Love, Hina. I've heard a lot of things, a lot of people say that the manga is better. I actually own the entire manga, but I absolutely love the dub for this anime. A lot of people didn't like it, but I do. This is the Funimation release, the first Funimation release. Absolutely amazing, and I watch it every so often. Usually once a year I rewatch this because I like it so much. This is the entirety of the original series. Right here I have the movie collection, which is, it's the Christmas special, the spring special, and then all of Love, Hina again, right there, because it's only like 3 episodes. Very good. They actually re-released this with this, basically, at one point. Very, very good. One of my favorites. It's a harem anime. It's just, it's funny, laugh out loud funny for quite a bit of it. Then it gets randomly serious and depressing at points. Very, very good. I'd suggest this. Some people might not like the English dub, though. And you know what? You have a right to your opinion, but I love the dub for this. And then finally we have more porn. And that's it for this part of my DVD collection, Redux. Next episode is going to be M through P. Maybe. Maybe more. I'm not sure yet. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Later. Gilmore.